Okay, in this chapter we look at data type. It turns out that data type is a very important building block in Python. Data type actually tells the interpreter the range of values that are possible to be stored in a variable and also the kind of operations that we can carry out on that variable. So addition, subtraction, comparison, concatenation as an example there. Let us say we have the variable age and we are assigning age to 23. We can find out the type, that is the data type of age, by using the type function. As we can see, age here is of data type integer. It turns out that the interpreter will classify a variable to be a particular data type based on the value that's assigned to it. So in this case, age 23 is actually an integer, so the interpreter will assume that age should be an integer. Let's look at another example. Now I'm saying x is assigned to 2.5. So 2.5 here, let's just find out the type of x. And we've seen that the type of x is float. So float is the only possible value because we're looking at a floating point number here, 2.5. So already there you should be realizing that we have type, we have integer being one data type, and we have float being another data type. We have other data types in Python that I'm going to mention now, but these will go in more depth as we go on. So another type and another fundamental type here is a list. And it turns out that a list is just a collection of items there. So here I'm defining a list to have 4 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if I try to find out the type of the list here, you can see that the type is a list. But don't worry if you don't understand list at this point. We have an entire chapter that's devoted to list, and a very important concept in Python here. Another important data type is string. So I'm assigning the value Patrick to the variable name. And now if I want to find out the type of name, it turns out that the type is a string. So a string here is a sequence of characters. And notice that when we have a string, we surround the string by quotes. Again, we have an entire section that's devoted to string, but just to show you that we can use either double quote or single quote for a string. And here is a fundamental error here, and let me just show you the error here. It turns out that the error is because I started the string with a single quote and I ended with a double quote. So this is something that you're not going to do. So it turns out that for string we can either use double quotes or single quotes, but we have to be consistent. And as you can see in the error above, I got an error because I was not consistent. Okay, so string is another data type here. And the last data type I want to talk to you about is boolean. So boolean, they either mean true or false. And let me just demonstrate a data type using true or false. Let's say we have A being assigned to 5, and we have B being assigned to 9. Now, let us say we want to find out the type of is A greater than B. Then it turns out that the data type for that is bool or boolean. because the answer for that question would be either true or false. So the data types that we have mentioned here are integers, being positive and negative whole numbers, floating point numbers, being a decimal or a fractional number. We have a list that holds an array or a collection of data. We have a string, being a sequence of character, and a boolean that stores the value true or false, not both, but either true or false. Thank you.